Green Bay Packers fans, this is Brody, and we need to talk about a situation that could have major implications for both the team and one of its star players. Running back Josh Jacobs has found himself in some serious legal trouble following an arrest on May 26th, related to an alleged domestic abuse incident. Initially facing a range of severe charges, including felony strangulation, Jacobs is now dealing with reduced misdemeanor charges of battery and criminal damage to property, as reported by Tom Pelissero. Tell me where you're following the Green Bay Packers from and what you think about this unfolding story. It's important, especially as we aim to build this community toward 5,000 subscribers. So please subscribe and help us reach that milestone. Now, why does this matter to the Packers? Jacobs is a crucial part of the team's offensive strategy, having signed a lucrative 4-year, $48 million deal with Green Bay just this year. The fact that these charges could lead to fines up to $20,000 or even 18 months in prison is a significant risk for the organization. The implications are clear. If Jacobs faces a suspension under the league's personal conduct policy, the Packers will need to rely on Marshawn Lloyd and Chris Brooks to fill the void, which could put additional pressure on the offense. The strongest argument in favor of Jacobs is that his attorneys have publicly stated that the charges do not include domestic violence, which could help mitigate some of the backlash. They further emphasize that these allegations will be addressed in court, not through media sensationalism. The Packers have also stayed relatively quiet, issuing a statement that they are aware of the charges and will cooperate with the NFL, but they've made no moves to bolster their running back depth since Jacobs' arrest, indicating they still believe in his potential impact. However, the main risk here is the uncertainty surrounding Jacobs' future. With the potential for a suspension looming, the Packers are walking a tightrope. If they lose Jacobs for any significant amount of time, it could derail their season plans, especially given how vital he is to their ground game. This situation reveals a lot about the balance the Packers must maintain between supporting their player and preparing for the worst. Now, let's transition to our next news item, which dives deeper into the team's strategy moving forward. And now, let's shift our focus to a potential game-changer for the Green Bay Packers. The conversation surrounding Joey Porter Jr. from the Pittsburgh Steelers is heating up, and it's one that has to be on the minds of the front office at Lambeau Field. A young and physical corner like Porter, capable of matching up against top receivers and holding his own in coverage, could provide the Packers defense with a fresh look, especially after another offseason spent searching for stability in that secondary. At just 25 years old, Porter embodies the kind of player that teams aspire to build around, which is precisely why any trade pursuit would require a careful approach rather than a reckless one. According to Winston Wilcox of Fansided, a realistic offer from the Packers might revolve around 2 top 100 draft picks over the next 2 drafts, plus sending Benjamin St. Just to Pittsburgh. This proposed structure acknowledges both Porter's worth and the investments Green Bay has already made in draft capital. Let's not forget, the Packers surrendered first-round picks in 2026 and 2027 to snag Micah Parsons, and they also possess a first-rounder originally belonging to Philadelphia. Handing over yet another top 32 pick on top of those deals would mean the franchise could go 2 consecutive years without a first-round selection, a scenario that the front office is likely to reject. Wilcox's middle ground proposal allows the Packers to avoid overcommitting while still offering the Steelers valuable assets, along with a veteran cornerback who can step in and add depth. For Green Bay, the advantages are clear. The secondary has long needed a dependable starter, and losing St. Just is a more palatable option than giving up another first-round pick. Pittsburgh would benefit as well, gaining a player who can contribute right away alongside 2 mid-round selections to help replenish their roster after potentially losing one of their standout young defenders. For the Packers, this trade would still leave them with enough draft resources to continue building around Parsons and the rest of their core. However, there is the lingering question of contracts. Adding another significant deal after investing heavily in Parsons complicates things. Yet, if the asking price remains within the range suggested by Wilcox, this trade could represent a strategic upgrade rather than a desperate attempt to fill a gap. Porter would step into a defense that suddenly appears more complete, allowing Green Bay to maintain flexibility to further develop their secondary through later-round picks. It's this balance, rather than a flashy first-round offer, that makes the idea of pursuing Porter worth considering as the trade deadline approaches. Now, let's look at what's next on the horizon for the Packers. And now, let's dive into the latest on Tucker Kraft and the Green Bay Packers. The signing of Jonas Smith, while seemingly just an insurance policy, raises some eyebrows about Kraft's potential this season. Kraft, who is still considered one of the NFL's rising stars at tight end, is currently on the mend from a torn ACL, and his fellow tight end Luke Musgrave is dealing with a neck injury. Enter Jonnu Smith, a seasoned receiving tight end who can jump right into the mix. It's a move that could signal a shift in the tight end dynamics for the Packers. Before his injury, Kraft was turning heads with 489 yards and 6 touchdowns over just 8 games. His physical play, ability to gain yards after the catch, and chemistry with quarterback Jordan Love had many thinking that 2026 could be his breakout year. However, with Smith on board, that dream faces a major obstacle. While Smith isn't here to outright take Kraft's job, he certainly puts a cap on Kraft's production potential. Last season with the Pittsburgh Steelers, Smith caught 38 passes for 222 yards and 2 touchdowns. He's proven he can still contribute effectively. And let's not forget his prior connection with head coach Matt LaFleur from their time together with the Tennessee Titans, which could mean immediate integration into the offense. So, while Kraft retains his starting role, his anticipated leap in production for 2026 will now be shared with Smith, limiting his ceiling for the upcoming season. This signing could be viewed as a double-edged sword. It strengthens the position, but also complicates Kraft's path to stardom. What does this mean for the direction of the Packers? It raises questions about how they plan to utilize their tight ends moving forward. Are they shifting towards a more committee approach with Smith providing experience while Kraft develops? Or is this a temporary solution while Kraft heals? Let me know your thoughts on this situation and what you think it reveals about the Packers' plans for the season ahead. And if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button to help us reach 5,000 subscribers and stay updated on all things Green Bay Packers.